I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but even from a young age, I've always looked at the typical life and it's never really attracted me. I've thought this even since I was a young kid, and now I'm 22 coming up this year. Of course, I'm still young and my opinions can change, but at every different phase of my life, even now when I see my friends, some of them to be fair, even getting married and having kids, getting certain jobs, maybe even houses to own of their own. Some of that is appealing to me, other elements of it simply aren't. One thing that I've learnt a lot more over the last year or two is that there is no correct way to live life. And this is something that I've struggled with over the past, let's say, 6 or 7 years. From a young kid, I know it's true for all of us really, we're told what we need to do. We need to have a job, have a house, have a kid, have a wife, all these different things. As you start to get older, you could argue that these pressures, they don't necessarily go away, they actually can intensify. Even as I see everybody else making some of these decisions, these commitments, these choices, I don't really feel that enthralled or necessarily willing to follow down some of these paths. And like I said at the beginning of the video, there is no ideal or correct way to live life. I think once we understand this, we can strive to our own happiness. And it is my personal belief that we should all be self-sufficient as much as possible. So there are some people who are of the belief that they want to be a gamer all day. That doesn't mean that you can live at your parents' house until you're 40 playing games. That's irresponsible and it's unfair, it's cruel to your parents. But mine is paying for yourself and having a decent quality of life. What is there to achieve? Well, you could argue then the actual answer becomes happiness or enlightenment or fulfillment. And I always thought that the fulfillment was present in the adults around me when I was a kid or a younger teenager. And then you realise that's not the case. They are trapped in a life, some of them, a lot of them, that they simply do not want. Some of them that they simply did not want, ever. They fell into the trap. And I'm glad I've woken up to this at a much younger age. This isn't me saying that my opinions won't change. My opinions could change a lot. But it is me saying that once we realise there is a certain reason why most people follow this path, and it's not because they want to, but perhaps because it's what's pushed, perhaps because it's what makes the most money for businesses, creates the most productivity for the government, and etc. We can understand why it happens, and we can focus more narrowly on what works for us. Now, some people would call that a complete neglect of responsibility. But what is responsibility in life? Is responsibility to make 6 figures at a business? Is responsibility to have children? The answer is not straightforward in today's society, because the answer is subjective. And we need to talk about this more and more. Because you know what's funny? A lot of people of the last generation or the last 2 or 3 generations who watch my videos are not going to like them, they're not going to agree with this point. But I'm coming from a different perspective, and coming from the perspective of somebody who has lived in the internet age. And a lot of people are going to think this is me being perhaps naive or just stupid, to be honest. But I'm going to talk from my personal experience. I've always had a passion for making videos like this. This YouTube channel has made me over £1,000. I've only got 3,000 subscribers. And I've barely uploaded that many videos. My other YouTube channels have made me significantly more than that. There's people who make literally millions from making videos about art, architecture, science. I'm not saying that everybody can do that. And by the way, not everybody wants to. Most people want to do a job. Most people want to do a 9 to 5. They just get told what to do. They just turn up. They just do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So when I get people in the comment section saying, well, not everybody can do what you do. Not everybody wants to. Not everybody should. And everyone thinks that they want to until you start talking about it to them. Because one of the businesses that I run is a reselling business. A lot of you who watch the channel, you know this. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me, oh, you make so much reselling, I want to do it. And then this is where things get interesting, because if I saw the amount of money that I made, and I was the same age as me, and this is what happened like 2-3 years ago, I saw somebody doing it, and then I wanted to do it myself. I would have been starting that night. Reselling stuff, drop shipping, anything, right? Anything to make some money in that way, because I know someone who's proven it can work. I speak to her a couple of weeks or months later. What's she done? Nothing on the business. There is no business. It was nothing but a dream that didn't come true. This is the way that most people like to live, and I know that was a bit of a tangent, but it is context for today's story, or today's point, because this idea, not everyone can do it. Not everyone wants to do it, guys. And if you're watching this video and you think, I don't want to do it, that's fine. But we live in a day and age now where people can make money doing anything. If they monetize it, if they get the right audience. You can make millions from selling ice cream. That's just one example. So no, not everybody does have to work a 9 to 5 anymore. Not if they don't want to. And not everybody should want to follow this typical path of life if they don't enjoy it. We need to mention this more. Because as our world changes, and as the opportunities that we can capitalize on change as well, we've got new choices, we've got new chances. There really is something here in today's day and age that can make our world different to any time in the past, if people really want to capitalize on it. So my point here, and I know this is kind of more of a point which doesn't actually have an end goal, I'm just discussing something, right? I'm trying to think about how I'm going to conclude this video. It's quite interesting. My point here is, if you're the sort of person, and you're maybe a bit younger than me, maybe you're a little bit older, I don't know. I know some people are a bit older than me, and they still take value from my opinions or my videos. That's great. That really is quite great. And you've always felt the pressure, and you've always felt the goals, and it's never really sat right in you like it might not sit right in me. You've got to think about why that is. And you've got to think about what happens if you even have all of the stuff that you're told to want. Are you going to be happier? And people can say happiness doesn't matter, but let me give you an example, guys. Let me give you a really important thing to me, at least. If you are going to die next week, what are you going to remember the most? What are people going to remember you for? Most people, because people these days, not even these days, it's not a new thing, it's a thing. People are so private about how much money they've got. No one probably even knows how rich you are, so it doesn't matter. They might have a perception, they might have an idea, but not even then does it matter. You're going to remember, and they're going to remember how you made them feel. You're going to remember, and they're going to remember what you did together, where you went, the sort of character you were. So at the end of the day, what really matters? And what should we really be putting our focus on? No answer there, guys. Just a video with a question at the end. Opinion-related video, nothing more. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for your time. If you enjoyed this video, do make sure to give me a like and subscribe, and I do hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.